Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, January 3rd, midnight Mountain Time. You're looking at the newest GFS model we were waiting for, and you can see that south, the southern storm in Texas and Oklahoma wreaking havoc. You can also see a major system moving through the northeast in the coming first week of January. By January 13th, the models are showing a blizzard. Upper Michigan, Quebec, northern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. But we're jumping ahead of ourselves. Heavy snow moving into British Columbia, tilting the map. Look at that. And the snow will move south into the Sierras heavily starting this weekend, Saturday through your Sunday. Boom, snow through the Sierras. Huge snow in northern Cali, moving all the way close to the beach. The Olympics picking up heavy snow. And then another system adds insult to injury here over the weekend, bringing us another 8 to 12, and then followed by another weekend bury. So we're going to watch the snow systems move rapidly, one after another across the country. The southeast is still out of the picture. Snow and ice and rain bring headaches across the southern U.S. A developing storm in the southwest brought another round of snow to the Four Corners on New Year's Day, including 3 feet of snow to the mountains north of Albuquerque. Yes, tilting the map and replenishing the aquifers. The storm will interact with a low in the Gulf of Mexico and bring snow, freezing rain, sleet, and flooding to the southern U.S. through Friday. Winter storms watches and warnings are in effect. Flash flood watches and winter storm watches are in effect for southern U.S. from Arizona to Mississippi, Houston to Jackson, Alexandria, heads up. Temperatures are at about freezing. This is what your Thursday morning looks like. Heavy band of precipitation from Corpus Christi all the way up to Philly. Heaviest snows in the Houston region. You can see some thunderstorm activity. The mix near San Angelo to Fort Worth. Heads up, Lubbock. The storm will organize Friday morning and start sliding off to the east. Unfortunately, the storm will bring another round of heavy rain to parts of the Gulf Coast. Through Friday, 3 to 6 inches of rain are possible in local parts of South Texas, much of Louisiana. Nearly 1 to 3 inches of rain are possible for the rest of the Gulf Coast from Texas to Georgia. Flash flooding will be a concern in this region for the next several days. Heads up, 3 to 6 inches right through Shreveport. And that's in New Orleans. Boom! Snowfall hits southern Arizona, causing traffic delays and other things. Snowfall hits the Tucson area. That's Tucson for the 3rd day in a row. And other parts of southern Arizona Wednesday morning. The National Weather Service issued warnings and advisories for winter weather, freezing temperatures, and people to be totally fluxed near Tucson. Here's 4 inches, 5.5. 3 inches in the Sierra Vista, 5.6. Some heavy totals there. Nogales got picked up 6, Sierra Vista 3, Tubac, Klondike 5.5. The weather conditions have closed some roads and stopped traffic, including I-10 near Benson, and cops are totally fluxed, while rainbow lights shoot out from the bottom of the vehicles. Albuquerque Zoo residents revel in the rare snow day on Wednesday. They were able to shovel out paths, and the tigers and leopards and the ligers and tepards, they could play in the snow. Polar bears lounge like kings in their castles, while Al Gore claimed they were dying off. And snow fell in the southern desert, where the polar bears live. Snow, ice to create difficult travel conditions from Texas to Oklahoma City into Thursday night. People with tractors that are patriots are suffering. Take a look at this patriotic tractor. I can't even say it. Let's run it through. That flag needs to be retired. Bandwidth is an issue. The same storm responsible for heavy snow over the interior Southwest is going to continue through your Wednesday night. Slippery roads, sidewalks, and travel disruptions. Enough freezing rain may accrue to weigh down trees and break shit, light things on fire. Here's your winter storm Thursday through Thursday night. It'll be shite from Lubbock east through most of Oklahoma. Slippery travel, reduced visibility. Your snowfall totals, bullseye, right on the state line in the south, 3 to 6 inches. You'll be a winner. The map below shows the snow depth as of Wednesday morning. The darker blue-purple is deeper snow. The light blue is very little snow depth. Much of it, if not all the snow across Iowa, will melt during the next few days with highs in the 40s. Heads up, Iowa. Many's buried up in the northeastern tip. Most of Quebec is buried. Western Montana, western Wyoming, northern Idaho, and the Rocky Mountains. Got a dump. Look at the mountains over here in Utah. The mountains are lit up all the way south. Whew. Waterloo, 7.3 inches. This year, total last year through December, Dubuque beating last year's record, and Iowa City beating last year's record as well. National Snowfall Analysis estimates in inches. Over 4 feet in northern Michigan, 4 feet in some areas over here in Wisconsin. Heavy snow in Minnesota as well. So far this season, we're going to be keeping a tally as the albedo increases. Quick hitting snow will bring slippery travel Thursday morning into the Northeast. Storm will spread from the Great Lakes into New England through Thursday, bringing the first wintry conditions of 2019. 2 to 4 inches expected for much of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, including northern New York. Spotty mix for northern PA, including the Poconos, northern Jersey. Most of Massachusetts and New York will be a nightmare. Slippery spots, travel delays. Although heavy snow is not expected, there could be enough accumulation from this event. Hello. Timing of the snow will cause slick road conditions just ahead of the Thursday morning commute. Ho ho. Let's check the GFS model. We already did. There it is. Let's check out the weather.gov map. And we'll be able to look up the watches and warnings in your area. We'll also be able to download some more video, some more tabs. As we shut this, slow-moving storm producing winter and rain threats. A slow-moving southern storm will continue to produce a variety of hazards from snow and ice, heavy rain, icing, and eventually snow plaguing parts of the southern plains and extreme difficult travel conditions in north-central Texas through Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. Heavy to excessive rain will continue in the Gulf tier. Here's your watches and warnings through 3 states, 200 counties. Heavy freeze and frost warnings in southern Cali and southern Arizona. Keep your eyes on. We have also freeze warnings in the Sierras, winter storm warnings and watches throughout Washington State, western Wyoming, winter storm watches throughout New England. It is winter, and there are watches. Environment Canada has issued an extreme minus 38°C cold warning across Quebec. That's cold. The holidays are officially over, and it's officially cold. Environment Canada has issued extreme minus 38°C cold warning across Quebec this morning. So you'd better bundle up, because it's going to be brutal. Yes, it is. Extreme cold warnings also issued for Kirkland Lake. Wind chill values below minus 40 are expected in the region this morning. Heads up. That's all they say. So if you're up there, you're cold. UK weather warning. Rare triple polar vortex to trigger heavy snow across the UK in January. Look at those numbers today. Chilly. Near unprecedented changes in the atmosphere above the North Pole will collude to create the perfect storm of brutal weather drivers. Experts warn. Look at those lows. Multiple polar vortexes to split and totally flux the region. Icy gales and gales of ice. Exacta weather forecaster James Madden says January is looking like a colder than average month overall. Some of the lowest temperatures of winter so far during the next 3 weeks. There will also be a risk of widespread snowfall through the month, and we will cover it as it covers the ground in your town. Other towns being covered include Albania. Yeah, extreme cold weather to affect Albania. A bone-chilling frigid air mass will soon stretch to Albania as a record-shattering weather pattern establishes itself across the country. According to Albanian Daily News, reported that the cold will cause temperatures to plunge well below freezing in the northern cities of Albania, where snow is likely to fall during the next 1 to 2 weeks. Temperatures are also expected to fall to -9 even in the capital of Tirana, starting from tomorrow on Thursday, January 3rd, and stay extremely low for the rest of the week while snow buries Albania. We're going to cover the depths, over 40 centimeters predicted. We'll show you those models tomorrow. Seismic update. 5.2 in Xinjiang, China. Activity in the South Georgia at 5.1. We have multiple quakes kicking off on New Zealand, including a 4.1, following a 4.7, Riverton, 261 kilometers southwest of. Now, these are hitting just south of the island. The most recent tremor just offshore was probably felt at 4.1 at 10 kilometers. 92 kilometers northwest of Te Anau, New Zealand. We have an inland tremor here in Bolivia at a very deep depth, which is suggesting stronger activity up at the surface here in the next 24 hours. We'll be watching that closely. A far northern quake up in Kaktovik, Alaska. And we have activity in the Kamchatka, where Shiveluch and other volcanoes are erupting. Frac quake. Utah 2.9 could be a frac-associated quake as well. And we have some heavy activity off the shore of the Sunda Strait, 5.0 at 34 kilometers. So we're going to be watching all of this activity closely. Worldwide volcano news update: Krakatoa, Shiveluch, Dukono, Sakurajima, Planchon, Petaroa, and Sabancaya. And here you can see the darkening of the snow near Shiveluch as major activity continues. Explosive activity continuing today. VAAC at Tokyo warned a volcanic ash plume that rose 17,000 feet altitude or flight level 170 and is moving 20 knots in the east. Planchon, Petaroa, Argentinian, Central Chile, and South American volcano activity uptick. Volcanic Ash Advisory Center, Buenos Aires, warned about volcanic ash plumes that rose 17,000 feet today, probably causing local disruptions in air traffic. Now, Planchon, Petaroa will come over here to the Smithsonian, and we'll see what they have to say. They say that they're closed due to the United States federal government shutdown. They're not getting paid, and you could suck it. Global Volcanism Program staff are out of the office and unable to maintain the site, so if anything happens, it's on you. Luckily, we have the eruptive history already here. And you can see a major outbreak here in the Dalton Minimum, VEI 4. And we're headed towards that. Historical observation, confirmed eruptions December 16th, 2018. Will the uptick continue? 1, 2, 3, 4. My prediction. Check it out. Planchon, Petaroa erupting VEI 4 in the next year. Anti-GMO activists found dead in hotel pool hours before planned delivery of 250,000 petition signatures to the EPA against genetically modified mosquitoes. Now, an activist who opposed genetically engineered mosquitoes has been found dead in the swimming pool of a Washington, D.C. hotel just hours before she was due to submit a petition of over 200,000 signatures to the EPA. She doesn't look happy in this photo. She's certainly not happy now. She's dead. Derek Brose of Activist Post investigated the story and spoken to a close friend of the victim, whose name is Myla de Mare from Key West. The mysterious death has also been covered by this link, check it out, which reports that the incident happened at the Cambria Hotel and Suites, Washington, D.C. Convention Center. They say they were called to the scene at 9:35 a.m. Medical crews say they attempted to treat the victim but later pronounced her dead. Her death, of course, reminds informed observers of all the death threats that other anti-GMO activists have been subjected to over the years, including yours truly. Thanks to the black ops biotech industry running intimidation campaigns, reputation smear campaigns, and political bribery campaigns to grease the palms of politicians, and Diamond was smart enough to get out of town right on time. If you weren't aware that people who oppose the biotech giants or vaccine industry are being routinely assassinated across America or harassed, I can confirm it. And you're not up to speed on what's really happening. Now, Erin Elizabeth of Health Nut News has documented 85 doctors who have been found dead over the last few years. Most of them were holistic health practitioners offering alternative or naturopathic medical treatments, including cannabis oil. The majority of those individuals are also opposed GMOs. Now, Mila is a very well-known activist who fought hard against GMOs and the use of genetically modified mosquitoes in Florida. Now dead under bizarre circumstances. You be the judge. I'll leave you links. The same flu virus that caused the 1918 pandemic is back this year. H1N1. The same virus that just killed a very young, right-leaning reporter just days ago and killed over 50 million in the late 1910s is back. Are you ready? Do not get injected with the flu or you're an idiot. Keep your immune system high. If you eat crap food and processed food, you're going to get the flu, especially if you get the flu shot. You do not need the flu shot if you eat biodiverse, raw, and organic foods, and you have an excellent immune system, and you also ingest copious amounts of THC. That'll keep your immunity bubbling. But if you continue to ingest the garbage processed food and diet, sodas, and all that other crap, you'll get sick, and you may be part of the pandemic of 2019, 101 years later. Did you know as early as 1988, there was information from the mainstream that normal stars like our sun, mini nova. Yeah, here's the paper, Flashes from Normal Stars by Bradley Schaefer, coming from NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. Back in 1988, July 29, I would like to point out to the astronomical community the possibility that normal stars can undergo large amplitude flashes on time scales from 1 to several thousand seconds. The evidence consists of flashes observed on 24 normal stars, as well as the 141 flashes on field stars observed by Johnson. These stars are normal in the sense that they are not late-type dwarf stars, have no particularly exotic characteristics other than the flash, and the flashes have amplitudes ranging up to greater than 7 mag, involving energies greater than 10 to the 40 ergs. It is possible that these flashes are evidence for rare class of previously unknown phenomena. And if so, an average star undergoes a flash every century or so, maybe every 12,068 years. Although our sun must have much longer recurrence timescale, according to this paper, 12,068 years, further observations and calculations are required to confirm the reality and cause of these flashes. Well, I must be smoking the hashes, because there are many scientists that have been claiming this for years. Here's a June 6, 2011 paper. Did a massive solar proton event fry the Earth 12,900 years ago? Yeah, apparently it did. The hypothesis is presented that an abrupt rise in atmospheric radiocarbon concentration evident at the Karakol Basin VAR record 12,837 years before present, plus or minus 10. That's pretty accurate. contemporaneous with the Rancho-Libraian termination, may have been produced by a supersized solar proton event, or SPE, having affluence of 1.3 times 10 to the 11th protons per centimeter squared. An SPE, or solar proton event of this magnitude, would have been large enough to deliver a lethal radiation dose of 3 to 6 sieverts to the Earth's surface facing the outburst, and hence could have been a principal cause of the final termination of the Pleistocene megafauna, several genera of smaller mammals and birds, and the melting of the entire ice cap. This event time correlates with large magnitude acidity spike found at 1708.65 meters in the GISP-2, which is associated with high NO3 ion concentrations and a rapid rise in beryllium-10, all of which are indicators of sudden cosmic ray influx. Now, if this is the case, and this solar outburst was more like a large coronal mass ejection, pieces of this material may have hit the Earth. Not only single pieces, but multiple, hundreds or thousands of bits of this plasma material during the supersized solar proton event would have hit Earth, forming the Carolina Bays, hitting the ice sheet, melting them immediately. Plasma, a blob of plasma hitting an ice sheet that's 5 miles thick, is not good. And we have evidence of other impact structures occurring. Now, many of these plasma balls could have been discharging to the surface, forming volcanic glass in the Sahara. But what we do know from the black mats is that most of the northern hemisphere was lit ablaze, burning all the boreal forests into what we call the black mats, which were then redistributed by catastrophic melt floods and mega floods that have been proven and documented by Graham Hancock especially. I love that guy. So the evidence is in that these events are occurring. The evidence has been around for almost a decade, and people even in the mainstream like Robert Schoch have been talking about this for years. Here I'll leave you a link directly to his website, robertschoch.com. Research highlights plasma solar outbursts in the end of the last ice age. He believes that the Rongo stone on Easter Island is part of the plasma discharge vocabulary, and I believe it too. And I've been searching for petroglyphs associated with the Pratt instability ever since I started following the Thunderbolts project and became a member of those years ago. Now, based on the Greenland ice core data, we know that there was some sort of cosmic event. The start date is 10,900 BCE. That's 12,900 years ago. And its ending began at 9,700 BCE, or 11,700 years ago. Now, what happened in this event is an extreme cooling and an extreme warming and an extreme cooling and extreme warming. It started with a rapid sea level rise that rose sea level almost 300 feet, followed by a rapid cooling, the Younger Dryas event, dropping it back down 200 feet, and then re-rising again to the levels we see today. So solar outbursts, we're getting into them. We're sharing with you the information. We're going to be covering them in our next update with Bill. The current state of knowledge of solar outbursts, micronova, polarity shifts, including geomagnetic reversals, geomagnetic migrations, and the evidence in the rock record. China lunar rover successfully touches down on far side of the moon. State media announces. Shortly after that, they erased the tweet. Does anybody's guess what's happening on the backside of the moon? NASA's New Horizons snowman shapes of distant Ultima Thule revealed. Now, based on the fact that there is no light curve in this 21-mile wide, 2/3 of the snowman that's wobbling and tumbling itself towards and around the outer perimeter of Pluto, it's my guess that we're going to find out that this object is generating its own light and heat. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yes, That's a boom, generating its own light and heat. A heated 2/3 of a snowman. Do you hear that, Al? We have a hot snowman now, thanks to your global warming. The new picture returned from NASA's New Horizons spacecraft shows it to be two objects joined together. No, it doesn't. It shows the same thing we've seen on all comets and asteroids. An electrically scoured central point with an electric dipole that makes all of these look like positive and negative chunks. Electrical scouring in the center. I guarantee we'll find machine dust findings along this area. This looks exactly like every other rocky object we've ever encountered, ever, and no one is putting it together. This double lobe shape is pretty consistent, which means that the entire astrophysics model of the origin of the solar system and our universe is nonsense. Totally. They need to account for electrical machining and scarring. Now, the CEO of China's most dominant internet search company, who uses AI and other algorithms, gave employees an alarming New Year's message. Yes, winter is coming. Whether it comes today or tomorrow, it's coming. It is winter in the Northern Hemisphere, after all. And the sun is shutting down. Does that mean that we'll have a mini nova? Yes, it probably does. Based on the papers I just shared, that probably happens regularly. We also know that solar outbursts occur regularly. And it's been over 1.5 years now since we've had an M flare. So the next X flare is on our doorstep. It's coming. Any day now. Mark my words. X flares occur at solar minimums. They do. And the next one is coming soon to you. Will this fry the grid? Probably not as bad as this event will fry the grid and everyone on that side of the planet that it hits. But we're going to see it coming. And if you're in the right place at the right time and you're prepared, you'll evolve with the rest of the mammals, just like we did at 12.9. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. The powers that be are removing subscribers from our list. Thousands have been erased. Almost all 45,000 of you do not get our daily updates. You need to fight the power. It's up to each and every one of you to get this information out to the masses and the people that you love. We can't do it alone. We need your help. It's January 3rd. What have you done the last 3 days to prepare for your new future? Be safe. We love you. And that's a boom.